Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Ready or Not. Here they come.
Directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, starring Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, Henry Czerny, and Andie MacDowell. This movie's about Grace, soon-to-be bride to Alex Ladomas, whose family is extremely wealthy due to their success in board games. With every new person that joins the family, they have to play a game at midnight on the wedding night. Sometimes these games can be chess or checkers, but unfortunately, Grace draws a weird card of hide and seek, and now the family has to kill her before dawn to satisfy the deal they've made with the devil himself. So what do we like?
I like the idea of this cat and mouse style of movie. It's always fun when you get into a thriller where the person coming in doesn't actually know what the whole truth is with the family. It's kind of like You're Next, where we have one character that we see grow and become strong as they're put in these threatening situations.
And Samara Weaving, who plays Grace, did a fantastic job. She's just like a fun, likable person. Most people know her as the babysitter. She was great in that movie. She's excellent in this one. And it comes down to her playful tone at times, but also just watching her go through hell over and over and over again. And you can both see the pain that she's dealing with, but she's also got this look of, well, what the hell is possibly gonna happen to me next? Bring it on, motherfucker. And so this character is just so good and played really well.
We also have a pretty interesting cast. There's a few characters who are definitely standouts. The aunt is just downright crazy and creepy, but that's what makes her fun because she's very strong-willed with like family tradition, and she's pretty much out to kill.
And there's assorted other characters as well, including somebody who's all coked up and accidentally kills people throughout the game.
Damn it, Emily! I don't know what I'm doing!
The characters themselves and the way they interact also leads to the light humor that this film brings, because it's not meant to be like a laugh out loud moment. This is supposed to be more serious toned, so when something does go wrong, you can't help but like laugh a little because how the people are reacting.
It's definitely a dry, dark humor that just fits really well with all the characters. We don't want to show too much, and we can't show too much because the movie's still in theaters, but there's a bunch of different kills. There's some really grotesque moments, and it's bloody. I also like the setting and the location, like this big house with secret corridors and stuff, and so everybody's kind of running all over the place, and you don't really know where they all are, and that's part of the fun of this movie.
The film does do a good job by having Grace go through like hallways and secret passageways, and at one moment she'll walk out and she'll be perfectly fine, and then the next moment she goes through a different door and she's in front of a family member. So every time she goes through the door, it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad, and I think the film did a good job giving us that like equal balance.
And we definitely can't forget the cinematography and the music. Both play an integral part to the film in both either having like the camera really tight so you don't really know what's happening around Grace when she's maybe hiding under a counter or something, and so that helps build up the tension. But you couple that with the music, which is all just like strings and very eerie tones. They're almost playful and childlike in nature, which you would expect from a game-related movie. And they really build up the tension well with both aspects. Now, what didn't we like? One of the things that I didn't really love was the comedy itself. I mean, it isn't supposed to be laugh out loud, but I feel like there were a couple moments that they did want people to laugh out loud at, and I don't think those moments actually hit very well. Specifically if somebody's like dying on the ground and they're coughing up blood.
Jesus, you shot the maid!
Does she look like she's wearing a giant white wedding dress, Emily?
Play up this joke where it's like, okay, now they're gonna stop. Oh, but they don't, and they just keep coughing up blood and such. I'm sure given the right audience, maybe like people would be cracking up, especially if you don't often watch horror films. I think you'd think it's hilarious. And so there is something taken away from the dark comedy simply because of the amount of horror movies we watch.
Because of this, you feel like you're gonna have this upbeat movie where one person is hiding and other people are trying to find her, and then they meet, they fight, they split, and repeat. And that's kind of what this film goes through. It's just like, all right, we found her in the bedroom. Now she's escaped. Now we find her in the kitchen. Now she's escaped. It's just like they're recycling the gag over and over again. It's not like it made the film feel slower. It just felt as though we've seen it before and they didn't really try to do anything different.
Right, it goes through the same motions and then just adds another layer to Grace herself with a new injury and then repeat the process, but can she do the same thing with another handicap? But in the same sense, I do think that these kind of moments are necessary for her character, which is weird. So it's like, you go back and forth with this one a little bit. This is a bit nitpicky, but I didn't think that like the gore scenes were as gory as I think that they were intended to be, because there are interesting kills, but it almost doesn't show a lot of them. You'll see a couple aftermath shots, but there's nothing super gory. I think for a casual audience, sure, you're gonna be like, oh shit, look at that. But it didn't really faze me too much.
I was actually really disappointed that we didn't go more in depth with the traditions and history of the family, because there are characters who married into the family. They played a game and they were able to survive to become a part of the family. And I think maybe giving like a flashback of like Daniel's wife, how she survived the game or what game she played, just like a one-off conversation on the wedding day would have given more details.
I got chess.
I got Old Maid. Seriously, what the fuck is Old Maid?
It just felt as though the other characters were given a pass. And I want to know why.
The mystery box of good and evil cards. That's just it. It's just luck. Some get chess, some have to hunt down their in-laws and murder them. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Ready or Not is a fun movie. Samara Weaving did an excellent job as Grace. She's a badass character, and you're just hoping that she can come out alive. There's a lot of fun moments. It's pretty upbeat, and it looks and sounds amazing. However, I didn't love the comedy. I thought it was kind of either not funny enough, or they just tried and failed sometimes. I couldn't really tell exactly what they were going for. Despite having a lot of kills, there's no kill that's really memorable. This movie really did seem like You're Next, but it kind of like held back on a few punches that it should have thrown. Although I also understand that a lot of my gripes are probably because I watch a lot of horror movies and a lot of horror comedy movies. So some of the fun factor that this movie was going for was kind of taken away, but it's still a really enjoyable movie and I would recommend it. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 creepy sacrificial hide and seek masks out of 5.
I enjoyed this movie. It was something that I was looking forward to because I did see the trailer. Even though the scenes were ruined for me, it still had some impact to it. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoy a good cat and mouse thriller. Grace was a great character. She was surrounded by so many interesting characters too. I think a lot of people are gonna have a good time while watching it. I was a little disappointed with the rinse and repeat factor. It threw the pacing off a little bit, but it didn't take away from the film too much, and I kinda want more. What other games are out there? I feel like we can just have a whole like franchise of Ready or Not with like different board games or like tag. I do recommend checking this film out. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4 Crossbow for Dummies videos out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, it is in theaters right now. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.